Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. After midnight, Bruce, late night. How you doing?
Late night. Just finished getting the game grades up and looking to add this podcast to it as we normally do, embed it as soon as we're done here. But I guess you had to cut out right as soon as the Oilers game ended to go play your own game, eh?
Yeah. The team I'm on, the River City Pigeons, had a late night game. It's hell of a good time out there tonight on the ice. It's unbelievably cold in Edmonton right now. It is so cold.
Yes,
but we're not here to talk about that, Bruce. We're here to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, who had a very professional, business-like, impressive, really impressive win against the Nashville Predators. What were the grade A chances, Bruce, in that game?
We have it at 14-6, and I got one in my notes that isn't in our list. That was an Edmonton chance that I want to take another look at. But 14-6 for Edmonton. I mean, the stats, you look at the shots, 32-32, and the fact it was a one-goal game for most of the game. But the fact is the Oilers were ahead for the last 30 minutes, and they were actually driving the play for much of the third period with 5 grade A scoring chances to just 1 for Nashville. Edmonton really took command of that game, and they took command in a 200-foot fashion where they had the puck in Nashville end, and when it was in Edmonton's end, they were moving the puck, skating, getting that puck crisscrossing in their own zone and up and out of the zone and out of danger. It was a very well protected lead.
Dave Tippett, the Oilers coach before the game, talked about the need to check. Yep. And it looks like they're really buying in from the top to the bottom of the roster, the very best players and the least strong players. Everyone is buying into that and playing that kind of game. And it wasn't a terribly exciting game, but it was actually, I was kind of nervous watching because you just whole game, and Nashville has some players who can score, and Forsberg was doing all kinds of crazy stuff with the puck. Yeah. But Bruce, that was a total team effort from the Oilers. Every single line was going, every single player was going, and a hell of a win. So let's do our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. But because it's a big win, we're going to each go with 2 good things each. What's your first good thing?
Okay, well, I'm going to go with Leon Draisaitl was the first star in the building, and I think rightfully so. He had a very, very strong game with 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 more power play goals. You know, Leon, remember he had only 1 power play goal for fairly deep into the season? Well, he's now up to 10.
Wow.
He has 9 power play goals in the last 20 games. So he's been money on the power play basically his whole career here, and we're seeing more of that now. He chipped in a huge power play goal with 18 seconds left in the first period that leveled the score after the Oilers had got off to a solid start but fallen behind 2-1, and they to get the score even before they went to the room, I thought was very, very big. And in fact, Nashville never scored again after that. And Leon, man, he had 2 great chances to extend the lead in the third period. A clear-cut breakaway set up on a fine play by his line mate Ryan Nugent Hopkins. That Pekka Rinne, who was very solid in Nashville net, got a blocker on. I could hear the shot hit the blocker, so I knew right away, even though the announcer said he shot it wide. It was not a wide shot. That shot was labeled high blocker, and Rinne got a piece of it. And stoned again in the last minute and a half on a weird play where Rinne was on his way to the bench, saw the danger developing, scrambled back in the net to make a great save, but only to suffer a too many men penalty for Nashville, which kind of extinguished their last hope. But I just thought Leon was an absolute workhorse with another 22 and a half minutes, 5 shots, 11 shot attempts, 30 face-offs that he took in this game. And just, I thought he was strong in all aspects. I particularly loved a play where he dumped the puck in front of the Edmonton bench in the second period, and Matthias Ekholm thought big Matthias Ekholm thought he was going to stand up Leon and crunch him because he was, kind of exposed himself getting to center ice in order to make the shoot in and make the change. And Leon just ran over him. I just love that stuff. And he's doing that more and more lately, this reverse hit where he just puts the opponent on his ass, the guy that thinks he's coming in to hit him, and the guy is down, and Leon just kind of shrugged him off, and off he went to the bench. And the next shift came out, and Matthias Ekholm picked himself off the ice and maybe thought he'd better think better the next time that situation presented itself. So I just enjoyed his game. By our count of scoring chances, he was involved in 7 for the Oilers and 0 against. So, a pristine two-way performance by that count. And just a strong night overall for the big German, who is definitely shaken whatever bug had gotten into his game in the last 6 weeks of 2019. He had a great road trip, and now he had a very strong return home game tonight.
The dump in play was particularly, I had been criticizing him a game ago for still being kind of iffy on those plays, but he was not iffy there. He took care of business, and that's exactly what we need to see is him just keep it simple. And there's nothing more keeping it simple than knocking someone off their skates. So good for Leon Draisaitl. My good thing, I'll start with Oscar Klefbom.
Nice choice.
Heading into this year, Bruce, I've been up and down on him, just like his game. He's been prone to, he's such a high skill player, but he's been prone to bouts of defensive slumps, especially where he's been beat off the wall, not covered players in front of the net. I have to say I'm not seeing a lot of that from Oscar Klefbom in the last month or so. He's playing the best hockey of his career. What is Klefbom right now? Is he 26? 26 years old.
Yep.
He is so smooth and so smart, and he's gotten smarter as a hockey player. That's what I'm going to say. His power play efficiency, he moves the puck to the right guys all the time. He knows when to shoot. He's not getting blocked. He's keeping pucks in on the wall. Yeah. So he's mastered all of these little different things that he has to do, these little technical skills, and he's got them down, and he's executing them at a really high level. And I think he's definitely underrated on the power play because most people say let's replace him with Ethan Bear, but he is becoming integral. He has been for some time, but really, I would argue that he should stay on the power play now. He's just making that run. Even strength, he and Larson are starting to play well. Larson's playing a little, moving his feet, getting out there, moving. But it's Klefbom, his smoothness, his reads of the game. He had a really good streak earlier this year, but he's even playing better than that now. And wow, is that ever huge for the Oilers to have a player like Oscar Klefbom? How many minutes did he play tonight, Bruce? What did Klefbom get?
28 minutes, 33 seconds. And he, across the board, he led the team in even strength, power play, and shorthanded minutes, as well as total minutes in shifts. And he led the defensemen in average shift length. Like, he was just a monster of minute munching.
I like how tough he is on the boards now. That's what I'm noticing is he wins those battles. Yeah. He positions his body well. He's solid on his skates, and he's winning those board battles again and again and again. And that's something that didn't always happen. So he's worked on all of these different techniques, raised them up a notch, and he's becoming a superior NHL defenseman. What is your second good thing, Bruce?
Oh boy, yeah, second good thing. Well, I think I'm just going to go with the total team effort of the Oilers. I thought they were solid from top to bottom. Thought that they were, they rolled the lines effectively. They had people, both special teams did their jobs. The power play scored a key goal. And then, of course, the empty net goal was also technically a power play goal as well. And the penalty kill was spotless, and even including Gaetan Haas killing penalties for the first time all year as a new contributor
Oh,
to the
that's right.
PK. He played a minute and a half tonight. He had 20 seconds all season before tonight, and he was out on two, if not all three, penalty kills tonight, and got the job done. And I like that it was top to bottom from the goal through the defense and the forwards. It was just everybody took care of business, and it was a well-deserved team victory. So kudos to the Oilers.
All right. My other good thing is going to be Mike Smith. And let me just see if I can get these stats for the last 4 games. All right. When I heard he was in, I was actually unhappy. I thought they should play Koskinen. Koskinen's been their best goalie all year, and he had a rough game, and I thought they should go back to him. But obviously the right call. They went with a hot hand here, and Mike Smith came up with just a really solid game. I mean, the goalie got beat on, the one of them, that weird wraparound play. I think goalies are going to adjust to that and start looking. They should stop that, but it's so novel that you're going to get beat now and then, and I don't think I think the goalies are going to catch on to that and be looking for it, like the players who tried that. So that was a bit of a tough one, but Bruce, he had a 946. They don't have it actually on Hockey References.
938 tonight.
All right. So in the 4 games leading into this, he had a 926 save percentage, and then he was 920. What did you say? 928.
938.
So he's really come alive. He's playing well. He hasn't lost he lost the first game in overtime in that stretch, but he's won 4 in a row now. And he's a great goalie to watch. He battles the puck. He makes weird looking saves. He kind of lunges at them and stops them with his face and all kinds of weird stuff. He passes the puck. He's been passing the puck excellently. What's not to like? And what a surprise, The only person who was still in his corner about 3 weeks ago was Kurt Levins. Was the only guy still saying keep Mike Smith up. So good for Kurt.
Over that. Yeah, we were just looking at the deteriorating performance and remembering how Jonas Gustafsson looked on his way out of the NHL.
Yes, we were, Bruce.
And I mean, the thing in Smith's favor was that he had a strong run early in the season, and clearly he was going to get another look, but you were starting to think that his chances were dwindling, and he may have been thinking the same thing, but he's turned it around, and credit where due. Tonight,
go ahead, sorry.
Tonight he only faced, by our count, 6 grade A scoring chances, but he faced a pretty high number of grade B chances from the high slot. I thought he fought through screens well, saw the puck well, and there were some hard shots from like 30, 35 feet out that he dealt with, blocker save, glove save, chest save, head save. That one that tore his mask right off, was a blast from the top of the face-off circle, so the grade B area, but it was a rocket. And he also made a really, really good play early in the game when 2 Nashville guys broke in and there was a cross goalmouth pass that the second guy was just going to slam home, no problem, but Smith intercepted with his goal stick and just took that play away. I wonder if we should call that sometimes we call a poke check a grade A chance that there's no shot. This is kind of the same kind of thing. He picked off a uber dangerous pass and turned it into a non-chance by just good anticipation and execution.
If we were down on him in December, Bruce, I will give you his save percentages in those games right now: 868, 846, 864, 769, 840, and 857. So I think I don't think it was crazy talk to wonder if it might be over for a 37-year-old goalie at that point.
Kat Silverman, to her credit, she was the one who said you can expect big peaks and valleys in Mike Smith, and just when you're ready to write him off, he'll surprise you and come back. Remember, we had this conversation sometime in late December, and she proved to be prophetic with that call.
And I've done some research. I'm going to be writing a post on this tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I won't tell you what I found. Let's
Okay.
keep that a secret. All
But
right.
she's part of it?
Well, her theory,
Yeah,
that theory,
good
I wanted
stuff.
to test that theory. Is that true or is it just talk?
Okay.
Because we're seeing it, right, with our own
Yeah,
eyes
that's
right
for
now.
sure.
So I wanted to see, does it bear out over other seasons?
There's not many valleys any deeper than the one Mike Smith was in December, as goalies go. I mean, he was way down there, but right now he's riding the crest of the next wave, and he's been good. Credit where due.
In those 6 games, he had an average save percentage of 840. It's so
Oh.
bad. It's so bad. Okay. Um, what's your bad thing?
My bad thing is that rotten, horrible, no good line change. The 2-1 goal and this was the one time that Edmonton had a breakdown, and it was a multiple player breakdown, which are usually bad kind of breakdowns to have. And this was right after a successful penalty kill. But what had happened was that the Sheahan Archibald duo had played about a minute 20 by that point. And finally, the Oilers regained control of the puck, and you think, all right, we've getting it out. We've got full control. Nurse has got the puck. Nurse passed it over to Archibald, and Archibald had no legs. And the puck missed him by about 2 feet, but the pass actually wasn't bad. Like you would normally expect the winger just to sort of cruise into the path of that puck, but he had no legs. So I went to Nashville in the neutral zone, and at this point, Archibald peeled off, and he got to the bench okay. But Sheahan cruised over to his wing, and then for some reason, Sheahan decided, well, he needs to go all the way from the right wing over to the bench, which is on the left wing side. And even worse, Adam Larson from right defense decides that he has to come all the way over to the bench. And he and Chris Russell get so crossed up, they don't even make the change. And so by then, what had been a 5-on-4 that had turned into a 5-on-5 was effectively a 5-on-3 because the two Oilers had completely taken themselves out of the play with a bad line change. It was just poor communication, poor execution, and they were on rubber legs at that point, and the whole thing just went to hell. Dave Tippett was beside himself, and I know how he feels because bad line change. I know you're the same way as me. Bad line changes drive me nuts. And I guess probably every team has them, but because the Oilers are our team that we watch for 82 games, we see them all. And it seems like they have an ungodly number of them that wind up in the back of the net. And
There's about
this was
5 to 10 a
example.
year, right? We've been tracking this for some time.
Oh,
There's about
there's
5 to 10.
easily been 5 this year. I'd say
Yeah,
more.
there's about well, there's about 5 to 10 that lead to goals against.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna like, and I disagreed with you because we were debating this earlier. I don't think Shane's at fault here.
Oh,
He had been out there, Bruce, a minute. He
100%.
had been out there for more than a minute.
Yeah, and he had a
Okay, just wait a
brain
second.
lock.
Okay, I'm gonna make my argument here.
Okay, go for it.
They get the puck out. He's chasing the guy out at center ice. Okay, it's
Hmm.
1-on-1 him and center ice. There should be 4 guys behind him.
Right.
And there's all kinds of Nashville's making changes. He's counting the players. There's lots of players behind him. He's got to get off. He's allowed to get off then. The guy who isn't is Adam Larson. So I think Shane's counting the players. There should be plenty of players behind him to make that play. And, if it's as long as there's 3, as long as it's 3-on-3, he can make that change. And I think it was at that point. So my bad thing is actually McDavid on that play, who in an otherwise he's had a long run, Bruce, of really stellar defensive play, but he totally just let his man go in there and score. That was his check. That was McDavid's check right through the middle of the ice, and Connor McDavid just let him go, and he went in and scored. So my vote is to exonerate Sheahan on that play, and I'd say Larson. Yamamoto got beat at the blue line. Russ, I think one of the D-men got beat, and Larson obviously for the bad line change in McDavid. But I would have said, Riley, you didn't make a mistake. You had to get off the ice. You were spent, and so that's my argument.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not buying it, but you're entitled to your opinion.
Well, and you have the veto, so okay. On the scoring chance assessments. All right. Yeah, I gave my bad thing. It was McDavid on that play. My number, I'm going to go with the 2 numbers of 8 and 7. Those are McDavid and Draisaitl's contributions to grade A chances in the game. They were both, McDavid was killing it on the power play. Draisaitl just killed it throughout the game. That line continues to be a fantastic line. What a difference Yamamoto's made to the Edmonton Oilers. They just Nugent, Hopkins, and Draisaitl, who never clicked. They were together for so long, Bruce. Or not so long. They were tried out off and on a number of times, and there was no chemistry. Suddenly, you put Kyler Yamamoto with those two guys, and there's chemistry. Fancy that. So, good move by the Oilers to call up Yamamoto. Good move probably to let him ripen on the farm, and great news for the organization that they have a second line like that. They are fun to watch. Every single game. Leon Draisaitl is finally, outside, not playing with Connor McDavid since the 2017 playoffs. He hasn't had a really great stretch on his own, probably without McDavid, but we're seeing it now. He's killing it. Good for Leon. Mm-hmm. What's your number?
My number, I'm going to focus on his line mate, his new best buddy, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who in the last 7 games has produced 6 goals, 5 assists, plus 8, and has completely turned his season around from being quite unproductive to now all of a sudden through 42 games, because of course he missed 6 games at one point with a bad hand and he was hampered for a number of others. Now all of a sudden he's up to 13 goals, 31 points, and effectively half a season. So basically he's on a 25 goal, 60 point pace for the season after being way behind the 8 ball. And he's made up that ground and then some in recent times. He scored a beauty shot, beat Pekka Rinne clean, which was not easily done tonight. And he was robbed by Rinne on a power play chance a little bit later. He had 5 shots on net. He was just, all situations. Like, he really played a impressive, to me, 200-foot game. Strong on the back check, strong on the penalty kill. He had 2 takeaways. He just did plenty of things right. But if you want to pick one number out of that, let's say we'll go with 11 points in 7 games and the hot run that he's now enjoying.
Remember, Bruce, when the Oilers didn't have any kind of players in mid-career who were doing well, this huge gap on the team. There's been various gaps at various times. I
remember it because it's happened every year for the last 95 years.
So this year, here's their 26-year-olds. Here's 5 of their 26-year-olds at least. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Oscar Klefbom, Joachim Nygard, Josh Archibald, and Adam Larsson. And all 5 of those players are playing really, really well right now in different roles on the team. And they're all 26 in the prime of their career, and they're getting it done. So this is a different. This feels to me, and it's felt pretty much all year like a different Oilers team. And I don't know what it is. Is it Tippett? Is it Holland's strategy of bringing in veteran wingers to fill those roles? It's just even the maturing process for all these players. It's probably a little bit of all of that, but it's working out, and it feels like a playoff team to me.
The support crew wasn't getting it done early in the season. It was all Connor and Leon for the first month or so. But the depth guys are starting to produce and are have been producing for a while, and they're starting to catch up in terms of where you'd expect to find them. And Josh Archibald tonight. There's a good example of a guy. Because of the Cassian suspension, he had to step up and take on the first line responsibilities because someone had to do it, and all he does is score the game-winning goal. And it's not all he did. He also was good on the penalty kill, and he won a bunch of battles. Had a wicked good hit in the early going, and a few others over the course of the night, and competed hard and won a lot of battles.
Yeah, in the first month of the season.
What do you want for $1 million?
First month of the season, I was thinking, what? Who? Is this guy? Can he do anything?
Oh, yeah.
But he's gradually been getting better and better and better. That goal, by the way, that pass by Klefbom, that bank pass.
Yes, I meant to mention that one.
Was magical. That was what a fantastic bit of skill.
And I raved about that pass in my
that was one. That's the moment where it's like I was just thinking, Klefbom, you're a madman out there. You're playing so well. Way to go. At the NHL level to be
not
making
just a
plays like that
100-foot stretch pass, but a stretch wall pass. That's my favorite wall pass.
All right, Bruce, let's leave it there. It's late. I upload this or download this, probably
Got this
both.
stupid chest cold that's going
Okay.
around. And did anybody mention it's cold outside as well?
No,
I've certainly noticed.
No one's ever. People in Edmonton haven't even noticed. It's just another day in January.
Oh.
All right. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.